Hello, good morning. So I am hanging out in the comfy chair in my office. I hope everybody in their office, every office I've ever had, I always have my working area, I have my meeting area, and I have my relaxing, comfortable. If a lot of times that's where I sit when I'm doing coaching, so I can just not be in front of my computer, or I can not be in front of the other work that's in front of me. And so I just sit in my comfy chair. Although I will tell you, my comfy chair is not comfy right now because I think I'm sitting on a blanket. Hold on. It's a comfy blanket, but it's not comfy to sit on. So I'm hanging out in my comfy space this morning. Good morning, Felicia. Good to see you. And I'm going to talk about pricing this morning because I wanted to thank so many of you for joining me last night, or not last night, but for 3 nights on our marketing mastery boot camp. And it was a great 3 nights. Really great energy, really great energy. Tons of, hey Audrey, great content, great teachers. I love my team. I love my coach. I have the smartest, most committed, most dedicated people out there. I just love, love, love them. So I wanted to thank you all for joining me. Hopefully you guys did for a part of it, or joined me for the last 3 nights. So I'm sitting in my comfy chair because it's a no makeup day, because I don't have to do a live stream tonight, which I'm so excited about. And it's also, man, so here's a question for all the ladies, I guess the men too. Good morning, Katya. Do you wash your hair on a day you're going to get your hair done? So that's my question for you before we get this going this morning. I do not. I'm like, why would I wash my hair twice in one day? So I always, like, that's why I've got a little bit of the crazy. I mean, I have a little bit of crazy hair every day. I have crazy hair. I always joke and say my hair grows. It doesn't grow long. It grows wide. But anyway, so haircut this afternoon, which I've needed for about... for about 4 months. And I never do that, but I don't know why it happened this time. I kept not wanting to go. I don't know if you've ever felt like that either. I'm like, bun and done. Anyway, so that's my life today. I'm sure you care about that. So I'm in the comfy chair hanging out, and I'm going to talk about, all right, Jennifer says she does not wash her hair on the day she gets her hair cut. Felicia does not. Good. I was wondering, I'm like, how many people do that? Like, how many people go and like get up, wash their hair, then wash their hair again? I have done it before where I've actually gotten up, washed my hair, forgotten I was going, had wet hair, and gone and washed wet hair. Anyway, we digress. So I said on our marketing mastery school last night, which we, as I shared, had been running for the last 3 nights, I was sharing that I would do pricing on today's Facebook Live. So I had told people to join us, and hopefully some of you have, to talk about pricing and to talk about how you set your prices and just a pricing conversation in general. So, here's what's interesting about pricing, and it's one of the biggest questions I've gotten over the years from people who are just beginning, because a lot of times you don't have context for what you should charge or how to charge. And I'll ask those of you that are already on and joining us, I'd love to hear in the chat room for you, because I know some of you have clients and you've been doing this a while. Good morning, Laurel. Good morning. Those of you that already have clients, how did you first determine your pricing? Like, what method did you first use to determine your pricing? And that method could be everything from guessing to, like, I had a coach tell me, or I worked with somebody to create my packages. So I'm just curious, if you are someone who already has clients and you have been in business a while, how did you first determine your packaging? So pricing is a really interesting thing, because there are certain things in the world that are very easy to price, because they go into a market that has very specific competition. And lots of times, like, think about a sweater, for instance. There may be a sweater that's produced, and it's going to go into multiple stores and multiple venues. And so there's kind of a set pricing, and it may range $1 or $2 depending on the place, but it's manufactured to go in mass. And so the pricing is really determined by the market, right? And Felicia saying she did her pricing in the beginning based off of what she had invested in to get help before. I think that's a lot of people do that, Felicia. Katya said, whatever worked for the clients, I customized for them to buy in the beginning. And you've heard me tell people that before, Katya. So sometimes when you're first starting out, that's exactly what you do. Audrey said, my coach helped me come up with a service and package. Jennifer said, scarcity pricing, sadly. I price so low knowing everyone loves a deal. Listen, in the beginning, you just do whatever you need to do. I mean, my pricing was crazy. My first 2 people paid me $50 just because I knew I needed to get somebody who was paying me. So anyway, so some things are just determined by the market and determined how they're put out in the market, right? So I mostly work with service-based professionals. I work with massage therapists, and I work with coaches and consultants, and I work with realtors. Again, real estate is something that really is determined by the market. So easy to know your pricing there. I work with insurance agents and brokers and financial advisors. Lots of times their company or their industry is establishing the pricing. So those all get easier. So what if you are an EFT person who does energy work, or you're a coach, or you're a consultant, and there's no determination or an industry mandated way that you do your pricing. Therapists are the same way, a therapist, right? So how do you decide what, oh my God, Mark Stoner, for real? Where the hell have you been? I know where you've been. You've been opening chocolate shops and ruling the world and writing books, and so good to see you, Mark Stoner. I miss you, but I keep up with you and I know what's going on with you, so it's great to see you. Actually, Mark Stoner owns a chimney sweep company. I mean, it's a great example. So again, there's not some mandated thing that's coming down and telling Mark he has to charge this fixed fee for chimney sweeping. But one of the first things you do is you do look at the industry, and there are some industry standards. Good morning, Andrea. And when you start to look at the industry and you start to look at some of the industry standards, what gets really interesting is you can go one of 2 ways. You can go, I want to be really competitive, so I'm going to look at what everybody's charging, and that's where I can kind of start from. And then the other way to look at it is to go, right, there really is no competition. I can charge whatever I believe my value is, but also what I believe that the market will bear. So in the beginning, so I'm going to talk about 3 levels. I'll talk about 2 levels, actually. I'll talk about in the very beginning, then I'll talk about later. In the very beginning, I think so many of you said some really great advice. Charge what people will pay you. Now, a lot of people would not give you this advice. A lot of people would give you the advice that says, do not, right? That you have to come out of the gate showing that you have value, and you need to come out of the gate talking about, here's my rate, and I'm worth this, and I have value. Yeah, that sounds lovely on the surface, but the truth of the matter is when you are just starting a business, you need some damn cash. You need some cash, and you need some customers, and you need some clients, and you're not really a consultant, or you're not really, use a bark again, a chimney sweep, or you're not really a massage therapist unless you are massaging somebody, cleaning a chimney, or coaching somebody. Right? So you need clients and customers to start out there. You need clients and customers. So in the beginning, I really do say your first 5 clients, you get what you can get. You do. I mean, it's great to have a package and to put a price out there, but also just be flexible because you want to get revenue going and you want to get clients and customers in hand. Now, after that, you want established pricing, and this is not an auction. You don't want established pricing, and you don't want to be in a situation where it's like, $400, no, I'll give you $200, oh, I'll give you $300, $400, $353, okay, we land on $335 a month. No, you don't want to do that. You have a package, you have pricing, it is what it is. And TD Jake says something which I love, love, love. He goes, try to go into Rolls Royce and negotiate with them, right? Try to go into Rolls Royce and negotiate with them. Rolls Royce is Rolls Royce. Their pricing is what it is. Wait to buy a Fendi bag for it to go on a 50% off sale. David Mamano, good morning. I love seeing your face. Wait, go into Fendi and try to wait for them to go 50% off. Fendi is Fendi. They're not going to go 50% off. They're not going to change their rates. I want you to be a Rolls Royce and Fendi eventually. So how do you price? So I'm going to say something that's kind of interesting. because I have sold coaching packages for $100,000. And when I first started out, I sold year-long packages for $15,000 or $18,000. And here's what I know for sure. I know that I have gotten both. I know that I've charged both. Guys, I'm 11 years into this game. I'm a great strategist. I'm good at coaching. I have a wonderful team behind me. And I am very, very rare kind of at my level in the coaching space. I am completely accessible to clients. My private clients, they can text me any time of day, and they do. I've had clients texting me from Brazil in the middle of the night when they were running an event, and I'm completely accessible. So I know what my value is. And over the last couple of years, my coaching packages were around $75,000 a year. And so my coaching packages were $75,000 a year, and I just recently cut those in half. I'm going to talk to you about what. Just recently cut those coaching packages in half. Because in the coaching industry, I also believe there's become stupid pricing, right? Pricing for what you can get just because you can want to see if you can get it. And there are people who will pay you that. There are people who will pay any amount. But I'm a business strategist. At the end of the day, I'm a business consultant and a business coach. And one of the things I advise my clients on is how much money you should spend on certain things. One of the things I advise my clients on is how you should spend your money. And so when we look at the grand picture of how much you're making and how much you should be spending on consulting or coaching or all of those pieces, I have to be in integrity with that. And I have to be intelligent about that. So I think there's something called common damn sense pricing. And let me tell you what I mean. So I was charging $75,000 a year for my coaching, and I was getting that. I'd also cut back some on my private clients. After I had my son, I didn't want to be coaching as many private clients. So I only had a handful, but recently my son's 3, he's going to preschool now. I want to take on a few more clients. And so when I looked to redo my packages and I said, where do I really want to land and what do I want to offer? I ended up taking my packages down to about $36,000 for the year. And the reason I did that is because I have a sweet spot for who I coach really, really well in my private coaching. Obviously, Driven Inc. and my company and myself, I coach all levels. But for my private coaching mastermind, I have a sweet spot for who I coach. And my sweet spot is taking people from a couple of $100,000 a year to the $1 million mark. And that's a really great sweet spot for me. And it's what kind of, if you look at some of the people that I have coached over the years, many of who you will know because they're top leaders in the industry, it's what I did with them. Met them at $100,000 a year, a couple of $100,000 a year, and took them across the 6-figure mark. Now, I don't think somebody making $200,000 a year for coaching to be paying $75,000 a year is a real stretch. Now, I'm all for stretching people. I am all for people growing. But I wanted it to be not a no-brainer. I want them to be stretched, but I wanted it to be like, yeah, this Suzanne, I pay her $36,000 a year. I'm making $212,000 a year. I can see a vision for that. Get me to multiple 6 figures this year, add a couple of $100,000 to my bottom line. Then the next year, let's get to $1 million. That makes sense. So I believe in common sense pricing, right? Now, common sense pricing, and if I really wanted it to be affordable for them, I could have charged, $20,000. But $36,000 to $40,000 makes sense for the level that I want to attract for that group. So in addition to you studying the market and what the market charges, hey Tracy K, welcome. In addition to you studying what the market charges, then I want you to look at who is my ideal client, who will be buying my products, programs, and services, right? And once you do that, then you want to think about, so what is a intelligent pricing for that structure? And if you know that you're going to be, let's say you're another business coach like I am, and you know that you're going to be working on attracting clients who are making, they're just starting out, they're making, a little bit of money, and you don't have a ton of experience either, it just makes sense for you to charge something that they would be able to handle at that level. Now, I have a lot of experience, have a lot of team, and for instance, my packages for the startup entrepreneur, obviously, like you guys that were in Marketing Mastery School the last 3 nights, I have about $1,000 program, which is so great for somebody to step into. But the moment that you kind of start going through that and you get some of those skills in place, you very much need to be in a high-level mastermind coaching program. And so my Driven Business School is my next level, and that falls in about the 20-ish thousand range. And I always tell people, plan to spend, once you get that first foundation in place, plan to pop up to spending about $20,000 a year, because you want good, high-quality coaching. Don't hire a cheap business coach, right? You may for a couple of months to get you going, but then you want to be in the right community. And so then you may pop up to that. But for those of you that are just starting out, it's like, if you're going to work with stay-at-home moms and that's your target market and they're not employed and you don't want them to get into the drama of I got to ask my husband and I've got to get permissions, then you might say, listen, for right now, my pricing in my first year of business, I want them to be able to do it on their own with a no-brainer. So I'm going to go after a little more volume than high ticket. And then once you master your skills and you're really great, then it's like, I'm going high ticket, and I'd rather have the 10 stay-at-home moms that can pay me $12,000 a year than have 25 who can only pay me $250 a month, right? And then that's when you'll start a $250 a month program, so it'll be a lower level group program, but you'll have the higher level. So how do you start off pricing? If you're in the very, very, very beginning, guys, don't overthink this. Do not overthink this. Like, go get some clients, negotiate. If you decide that your packages are $300 a month and somebody goes, oh, I'd love to do this, but I just don't think I can afford this. Go, okay, what was in your budget for this? And if they say, oh, I thought it'd be around 200, say, you know what? Let's do one less call a month. Let me tweak a couple of things here. Let's get you going. Absolutely, MasterCard or Visa. So in the beginning, you are wanting to get clients and customers and you're wanting to get them in. After you get a foundation of 3, 5, 8 of those that you've done, you've got proof of concept, you want to have an established package. Look at your competitors. Now, don't look at your competitors that have been doing this 10 years and make $3 million more than you. Look at your true competitors that are a level or 2 above you and model their pricing. It's obviously working in the market and it's working for them. Then use that formula of thinking about, who are my clients? Do they have their own revenue stream? Are they dependent on somebody else's revenue stream? Are they independent wealthy? Do they live paycheck to paycheck? How does their money come in? We think about this as well, guys. Are these people who are paid weekly? Are these people who have ebbs and flows of money? Are these people that get their income from a paycheck? Are these people who get their income from retirement? So think about how they're paid and what their payment looks like and the revenue that's coming into them, and think about how you establish pricing. We recently launched one of our big programs from our Speak Mastermind program. And it's an amazing program, and it is a high level program, and it's also priced high level in the $50,000 range because there's so much done for you in it. A sizzle reel and headshots and a book and blah, 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 blah. So it's a high price program. And we recently did something where we did our payments monthly. Because it's a higher price program, one of the things that you want to think about is, how do I charge people? And if people weren't doing the pay in full and they were doing the payment plan, we decided to do a weekly charge, because it really broke that down. And most of them are entrepreneurs who are selling every day and selling every week. So it kind of gave them a goal for the week. It also just spread it out for them so it didn't hit big at once. Thank you, Katya. We're so happy you're in the program. So think about how you could not only price your programs, but how you charge for those programs and what that looks like as well. So pricing questions. I'm going to just share 1 or 2 more things here really quickly, and I'd love to see your pricing questions or your program questions in the comments here. Do you have a question about how to price your programs? Do you have a question about how to package those? Do you have a question about maybe how to charge for those and what it looks like when you are having a conversation with a potential client? Because obviously a different conversation than today, that big conversation around Objections, which we all know the number one objection for clients on a sales call is, I would love to do this, but I can't afford it, right? And so all of those items really begin to add up, and they begin to pile up when you're thinking about, what is my program? How do I price that program? How do I present that pricing? Because pricing your program and figuring out how you present that pricing to the market are two different things. So how do I present that pricing? And then how do I deal with their response to how I am presenting that pricing, right? So, to summarize a little bit here, it's like, first of all, in the beginning, go out and make some money, right? Do whatever you have to. Get clients, get customers. Don't overthink your pricing. Come up with something you can offer. Come up with a pricing and a program and a product that is clear. So you say, this is what you're going to offer on the sales conversation, but have some flexibility within it. Have some downsell thoughts about, if they can't do this, what can I charge them? And let's do this, because your main objective is to get clients and customers into your business and into your system, because it's how you get referrals, it's how you get testimonials, it's how you get cash flow, and it's how you really feel like you're in business. It's how you really feel like, I'm off and running, right? This is happening and I really am in the game now. So that's how you want to start. And then the second piece is, if you're further along, you don't want to be an auctioneer, right? You don't want to be an auctioneer. You want to have your prices, and it's like, it's your job to work through the objections with those people. It's not your job to get into negotiations about your packages and programs, right? And the third thing is, and Felicia, I see your question. Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to answer it here in just a second. The third thing is, I don't want you to be pricing off of some airy-fairy video you watched online, or little program you took about know your value and you can charge whatever you want. You can charge what, sure we can. I could run around and we could all charge whatever we're worth. Tony Robbins has $1 million coaching program, and a lot of millionaires and billionaires pay him for that, because he studied his market and he knows he can charge that and get someone to pay that. So my market is not millionaires and billionaires. So my market is that sweet spot that I told you about for my private coaching, of the couple of $100,000 a year business owner who would like to get to the $1 million mark. So it just makes sense that my pricing falls in about 20% of their income. And so be intelligent. Don't build everything off of some fanciful dream ideas. Build things off of data and research and studying your market and knowing how their money comes in and knowing how much money they make, right? So that's how I want you to be an intelligent pricing thinker. So Felicia, I have a group program that's $550 a month with students in it, but I think it's too high for who it's for. How can I adjust it with people in it to get more students? And then how can I price my private in relation to that? Great question. So Felicia, a couple of things. I would say, if it's a group program and at $550 is feeling too high, then you're right. I mean, go with your gut. The reason they're probably in a group program and not in private coaching with you is because it is a money objection for them. So it probably feels like, I don't even know much about what you're selling, but I'm just telling you what my gut reaction is that it would be more maybe in the $399 a month range. And here's the deal. If you want to go ahead and offer it at that price point, but you have people that are paying $550 a month, add a little private coaching to those people at $550. Say, listen, you guys, I'm putting you in a slightly different program where you get more access to me, so we move you further faster. And then this is just a Suzanneism. This is something I've always said. I always like to look at my private coaching as it relates to my group coaching, and you want it to be a little less than double. So if you're charging $400, which is what I just suggested for a group program, you may want to charge like $750-ish for your private coaching a month. So I hope that helps. I teach them how to win contracts with the federal government. Absolutely. So they just may be somebody who's never won a contract. They're coming out of, a business. They don't have income coming in, and they're wanting to be in that, in a group. And so that $550 may be a little high. Here's the other thing. Test your pricing. So Felicia's feeling like $550 is a little high. So go out there and sell for 60 days, sell it at $3.99 and see what happens, right? Go, oh my gosh, my conversions went from 7% to 17%. Well, there's your pricing. Now I'll give you another pricing tip, everybody. If at least 1 in 3 people aren't saying no to you because of your pricing, then your price too low. Let me say that again. If at least 1 in 3 people aren't saying no to you, and it doesn't mean they say no forever, but they have an objection because of the pricing, then you're probably priced too low. I have people all the time that come to me and they're like, I have an 80% conversion rate. Everybody says yes. I'm like, well, because you're basically paying them to be in your program. You need to double your rates right now. That's your next step. So think about that as well. Hello, Tracy. I help business owners like coaches get corporate clients. They usually never have done it before. The value they receive is immense. So yeah, I mean, you have to think about it. The value that we all give should be immense, and the value that we all give is incredible, but it's not the value that we give, it's the value that they receive. All right, let me say that again, everybody. It's not the value that we give, it's the value that they receive. So I could think my value is off the charts, and I could know it is, but if the value they're receiving, right, is a little slanted from that, I have to do my pricing based off of the value they receive, right? Now, Tracy, it's too low if your conversions are too high, right? It's too low if your conversions are too high, or you're just bad at converting, right? And you need to improve your conversion. So that hopefully that helps you. Hello, Joanne, Jojo Wilson. Hello. What happens if you put a lower half price offer on and they still don't buy? Then you may be bad at sales. So it's very possible, guys, not to have a sales problem. Not to have a pricing problem, but to have a sales problem. So obviously, Joanne, I don't know if you go by Joanne or Jojo. I don't know enough about you, so I don't know your background and your business. But if you were saying, that I've cut it in half and I'm still not getting people to convert, that could be a conversion issue. You could need to work on your sales conversation. You need to work on how you handle objections. You need to work on getting people to a decision. So certainly people can have a pricing problem, but you can also have a sales problem that will skew the knowledge if you have a pricing problem. And guys, the reason this all gets a little muddy is because you need an expert in your corner to help you navigate all of this. You need a coach. So hopefully everybody on here does have a coach. And if you don't have a coach, and you didn't join us on the 3 nights of Marketing Mastery School, go visit sixfigurestrategylab.com. For under $100 a month, we answer everything that I'm doing with you right now. Your pricing, your questions. Why am I not selling? I've cut it in half, and why isn't that working? For $97 a month, you get private coaching, right? $97 a month, you get private coaching, and you get me. You get access to me. So, Jojo, I could solve that problem for you on one of the mastermind calls, lickety split, with more information and more detail about how you're selling and who you're selling to and how many calls you're having and what that looks like and all the details. So if any of you are wanting to have an incredible new year and really get access to me and get access to my team, and this topic of pricing is a huge one that we cover. We just launched our 6-Figure Strategy Lab last night, and we'd love for you to check it out at sixfigurestrategylab.com. Join us, and actually I think I just gave my coaches this morning a few additional bonuses to give people. So you know what I'll do? I'll also I will put the phone number here as well. You can call our number, and we have like a couple of $1,000 in bonuses. Call this number, 867-670-4525. I just sent that. And talk to one of the coaches, and I just gave them some bonuses about an hour ago to utilize this morning. So you get a few $1,000s in bonuses, everything from social media training to coming to our live events to a training that I do called the 60-minute switch, where I show you how to make $1,000 a day for the rest of your life. So some really cool bonuses. But 6-Figure Strategy Lab shows you how to either grow a 6-figure business or how to add 6 figures to your bottom line online. And I think I have some clients on here that have been in the program. Phenomenal, phenomenal program with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you get in it, doesn't work for you, get out. We'll give you your money back. $3 a day. $3 a day to get your pricing right, to get your programs right, to understand what your sales conversion is, to understand where you may be faltering in sales, private coaching in the program, and access to me. I didn't even mean to talk about that this morning, but I just share it because I think when we get into something, oh, Felicia joined 2 days ago, and I'd only jumped on and heard the sell, but I know Suzanne Evans, and it's a steal. Oh, thank you, Felicia. I'm so glad you're in the program, and it's so good to see you here. So anyway, I had no intention of talking about that this morning, but I think when JoJo just brought up a great point, it's like, ooh, sometimes somebody in the moment can't answer your question because you do need the data, right? You do need to back it up and go, is this a pricing problem? Is this a sales problem? Is this a combination of a pricing problem and a sales problem? So it just triggered me to say, like, this is why you need some people in your corner who can unpick the problems you're having in your business from an educated perspective. So anyway, that's pricing, guys. I hope that that was really helpful this morning. Thank you so much for joining me for these 100 days of more. And we'll be back on Monday at 10 a.m. And yeah, I put the phone number in there. So give a call to one of my coaches if you want to chat about Six Figure Strategy Lab. A lot of the questions that were being asked here this morning, perfect for that. And $97 a month, so a no-brainer. Thank you, guys. Have an awesome weekend, and go do your pricing. And after you do your pricing, offer your pricing to some people. Go get a client today. Bye. Hugs and hell yes.